Welcome to this episode of Flowcasts.
Where did you decide to go to school and why?
Well, after not living up to, I guess, my potential in high school due to that, I guess one thing would be the injury did not help. Some schools dropped off of me. So it was Syracuse, Bloomsburg, some of the eastern schools kept recruiting me. And my brother was the captain of the Syracuse wrestling team, Frank Ryan. So I opted to go with him. We were roommates for 2 years. And I had some success there. And I guess I learned a lot about what I wanted even more when I had gone to Syracuse.
And what did you end up doing there?
Well, our team won the Eastern Championship my sophomore year. I won the Eastern Championship my sophomore year individually. But despite the full scholarship and the close tie I had with my brother, I felt there was more that I wanted out of the sport. I wanted to be challenged a little more. And it was a good atmosphere at Syracuse for a lot of people. I just wanted a little more. I wanted to surround myself with the best people I possibly could. So I left after my sophomore year. I lived in a hotel in Iowa City for the summer, enrolled in school there. And Gable, I'd been to summer camp there every summer. And Gable, I wanted to wrestle for Gable. And I enrolled at the University of Iowa, showed up in the wrestling room, and had some success there.
You win the conference tournament. Seems like things are going right path, but you say, no, I want to take it another level up. And you go to Iowa City and live in a motel or hotel for the summer? Yeah,
my father, even my brother and I were very good friends. Obviously, we were roommates, and they were always very supportive. They said, "Hey, if this is a dream of yours, chase the dream. Chase the dream." And I lived in the hotel. My father was behind me, giving up a full scholarship, which out of high school is very important to people. I know that in recruiting the last 13 years. It's part of the ego thing, and it was for me as well. But when I get past the fact that money can't buy you the things that are really important, paid my own way at Iowa, and it was the best decision I ever made. Yeah, no, let me tell you, there were several crossroads in my journey to Iowa. When I got there, I remember my first workout. Again, the first seemed to be stick in my brain. The first workout at the University of Iowa, it was over the summer. They had summer workouts going, camps. They ran camps. I showed up to the wrestling area. Again, I'd been camp out there every summer for a month, so I knew the area pretty well. I show up to practice, and I wrestled with two guys. I didn't know who they were, but ultimately they were Troy and Terry Steiner. And I remember Lenny Zaleski, who was coaching at the time, watching the workout. And I never got beat so bad in my whole life. I was tired. I thought I was in great shape. It was the whole perspective. I thought coming from Syracuse, I trained hard, I ran, I was in great shape. I worked out with these guys, and they had me, I didn't know where I was after about 20 minutes of the workout. I was physically exhausted. I remember leaving the building thinking, here's a crossroad. I'm looking back at it, it was a crossroad for me. Am I going to leave? Am I really going to leave and do this? Or do I get back in the car and turn back and go back to Syracuse where I was comfortable and happy? And obviously, ultimately, I decided to stay at Iowa because those are the people that I wanted to be around, people that challenged me, and things worked out.
Was that your redshirt year?
That was my redshirt year. Gable wanted to pull me out of redshirt. I had beaten Pat Smith that year in December. I was redshirting, and our starter Mark Ryland got injured. He broke his jaw. So I think I was going to come out of redshirt, but I couldn't. I wasn't released by Syracuse, so I couldn't come out of redshirt. So I ended up redshirting and then starting at 158 the following 2 years.
And why do you think, what made Gable such a great coach?
Around the right people, surrounded himself with the right people. He was a great motivator. He was a living example of hard work. The environment out there was one that was very team-orientated, not me-orientated, but a very we-orientated group. It's the right people. You were challenged on a daily basis. You were put in difficult situations, and those that could deal with them, become accustomed with them, to them, excelled, and those that couldn't didn't. It was really ultimately survival of the fittest is how I view it. The toughest survived, and others didn't.
When you went there, were you a little intimidated by the fact that you were going to Iowa and meeting? What was it like meeting Gable for the first time?
I don't really remember, surprisingly so. As a high school kid, I remember how intimidated I was as a camper out there by just the greatness around me, and all these coaches were national champs. But surprisingly, when I went out there was not a lot of intimidation. I really was headstrong, and I tell a story to the team about the Vikings, how when the Vikings conquered a land, the first thing they did when they got to the land they were going to conquer was they burned their boats. There was no way off. It was either conquer, kill, or be killed, per se. So win or nothing. And I would say that from that one day I wrestled with the Steiners, for me it was burn the car. I'm not going back. I'm staying, and I'm going to find a way to make this work. I'm going to work until it works. And and that's really how I handle it. I was committed to, no matter what I had to do, being successful out there.
Flowcasts.